guys, welcome back. I hope that now I'm in focus. It would be really sad, but anyway. So today I want to do the boujee booktuber tag. I've seen it, I think, on at least on two channels, on the Spine Breakers and Spinster's library. Nobody tagged me, but I saw that the tag is quite interesting, so my answers probably would be not boujee at all. And the tag is originally created by Olivia from I'm not sure how to pronounce the creator's name. Olivia? Anyway, link will be down below with the questions as always. Yeah, let's get started. Number 1. What is your average monthly budget for books? I don't have a specific monthly budget for books. So, first of all, I don't shop specifically for new releases, so I don't have to acquire books every month, for example. And yeah, usually I can randomly go to a bookstore once in 3 months and buy a bunch of books, and for the next 2 months don't buy anything. So, question number 2. What's the most you've ever spent in a bookstore? It's honestly hard to tell. Maybe around 30-40 bucks, I would say. I remember one time I bought a book which was just only that book was around 30 bucks, but it was like illustrated kids book. It was Alice in Wonderland. No, so the Looking Glass illustrated edition in Belarusian. I bought it for my sister, and I think I've bought a couple of used books at the same bookstore, so probably it was like around 40 altogether. And yeah, I think I've recently this year also was on a huge book shopping and spent around the same amount of money in one bookstore. But yeah, that's kind of the average. And note for the people who maybe randomly find my channel, I don't live in US or UK, so on average books here cost like way less than English editions. So 30 bucks for a book, it's like a lot. It's a really expensive book, but yeah, it was huge. It was illustrated. On average, like regular hardback would cost like less than $15. I mean, new book. So like such hardback would normally cost around 10-15 bucks. Of course, thick hardback would be more, but yeah, whatever. I usually don't buy that huge books. So next question. Number 3. Are you willing to pay full price for a brand new release, or will you wait until you have a coupon or there is a sale? I'll probably wait. I think I only last year or two I've started to find new releases which interest me with the booktube and stuff. But anyway, I'm not oh, I need to read it immediately, I need to pre-order it or something. I wanted to pre-order one book. I'm glad I didn't do it because I didn't like the book eventually. But yeah, I think I will wait. I mean, I have a whole shelf here, it's mostly unread books. I have a lot of stuff to do, so I can wait for the sale. And yeah, I usually genuinely prefer buy second-hand books, so I will definitely wait. Number 4. Would you rather buy one new book or several less expensive used copies? In general, I would say multiple books. I like buying used books. First of all, they kind of have their own history. Some old editions may be cool, different style a little bit, different from new editions. some books are not republished. They're cheaper, which always a plus, and it also saves the environment because you're not throwing them away. And yeah, overall they're cool. But I mean, if it's like, I don't know, super cool, super important for me book, personally or as a collectible, I might buy one new book. Yes, so for example, I'm collecting house editions of Harry Potter, so first one I bought myself and it was completely new. Found it with discount though, but yeah, it wasn't second hand. Question number 5. What do you think is a reasonable price for a new hardback book, paperback and an ebook? And I honestly don't know. It's a really hard question because it's obviously depends on where you live and what's your average kinda living wage is. I mean, so I think for people who live in the US and but probably in UK, the answer would be different from people who live, for example, in Russia or as I am in Belarus, because just salaries are different and prices on stuff are different. So I've noticed that for like US books, normal hardback prices like between $20-30, I would say, depending on the book, which in my opinion is fucking a lot. And it's, as I said, like here this book would cost in published in, for example, Moscow and St. Petersburg and transferred here, it would cost like around $10-15 for a hardback. I usually don't buy paperback locally, so it's hard to tell. It's hard to compare prices. Overall, I don't see a lot of paperbacks published in Russian publishing houses. I mean, if it's not a comic books or something. Usually it's like some like pocket editions. I don't think I have anything here, but yes, there is like some pocket size classics or poetry books, for example, or kinda this low quality mass market books, like kinda romance or detective stories, like some stuff you can buy on a little shop on a railway station when you have nothing to do on a train. And overall, I don't think that paperbacks are published a lot, so it's hard to compare. With ebooks, I think that a lot of ebooks seems too expensive for me, because when you buy a physical book, you understand that what you put in the price, it's also paper, printing process, combining pages together, it's gluing or different type of binding, creating a cover and printing it, also putting it together, cutting the pages so it will be nice and beautiful, transferring it to the bookstore, paying his bills for electricity and stuff, and pays the workers. So all this together, and also some percentage for publisher and for the actual author, and for the editor probably. But with ebook, you're cutting away all these physical processes of sending this book to you and printing this book in the first place, and they seem too expensive for that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember did I ever bought an ebook, because I don't wanna promote pirating books because it's bad, but I pirate books a lot. Yeah, that's not cool. I know that, but as I said, I think that ebooks, especially foreign ebooks, are too expensive. And if I really like the book I've read, I'm going to go and buy it physically, because I more enjoy to reread physical books. But with ebooks, I mean, yeah, I usually go and download free ebooks in the case when it's new author, or I'm just not sure will I like it or not. Because yeah, I had the situations when I bought the physical book and I don't like it. I still need to send some stuff to the secondhand bookstore. But anyway, it was a too long answer for this question. And number 7, what's your most valuable book, sentimental or actual value? No idea. I have a lot of favorite books. I don't have signed books, so I can't say there is like special value because of maybe the author or anything. I want to say my Harry Potter editions, but my like first collection I've read in Russian translation. But I think this place might shift soon because the Russian edition should be published I think December this year. Maybe it's shifting forward to the future, but I've heard the news that it should be published and I'm super hyped and I will definitely buy this book. So it might take a more sentimental value for me than my first copies or my collectible house edition copies. But overall, yeah, I have a lot of books I like. First Herbert Well's book I've read, it's like super old. I don't know in what year it was published, but in 70s. It's like really old. A little bit ugly edition, I would say, but I like it because it was I think the first thing by Herbert Welles I've ever read. You know, all this kind of stuff. I can't pick one. I love all my books. I skipped one question accidentally. Question number 6. Is a signed book worth more to you? How about a first edition? It's hard to tell because most of my favorite authors are dead already, so I can't meet them and ask them to sign my book. And definitely all the old signed editions would cost like insane amount of money. But I don't think that's like I rarely see books as a collectible. It's like really rare specific cases, I would say. Maybe super cool illustrated editions. For that I might pay extra money even if I have regular editions already. But if it's really cool illustration or extra materials, like extra info in the book, I might pay extra money for this. Because it is a collectible, but signed books for me is not a collectible. Yeah, I don't think I have maybe like a few currently living authors which I like, but not to the point like give me a sign and I will take my money. But first editions, yeah, I think it's really cool. Also, overall I think collecting different editions might be interesting, not only because of the cover, but you know, in some cases it might happen that a book was published in a situation but it couldn't be fully published. Years or so. It was so heavily edited that some original ideas was cut out, and in that case I would like to compare first extra edited edition and maybe later original text editions and collect them, read comparisons. That would be cool. I can't just answer the question, yeah? Then question number 8. Will you pay more for a cover or edition you like better? Yeah, as I said, cool illustrated editions, extra info editions, special maybe anniversary editions. Yeah, even different translations. Number 9. What physical characteristics does a good quality book have? Well, I mean paper, obviously. You can probably tell there's some books which has like really thin almost see-through paper, and there is books with thicker and smooth, almost shiny paper, but it's usually like some really cool non-fiction or stuff like that, or maybe kids book, or some specific illustrated editions. It's rarely seen in the in the mass market books. Overall, from a reader perspective, I don't want to accidentally rip my pages, and I don't want them to fall apart, but it's mostly the issue with paperbacks, depending on how well the spine is glued together. It's usually don't happen with hardbacks unless it's like super old book and it was heavily read. Then individual kinda sheets. How do you call that? That's like if you've noticed in hardback, it's usually like separated by kind of notebooks and they are all binded together. So if the string in the binding is not really good, or it's, as I said, really old, really heavily read, some individuals pieces and these notebooks could fall apart. But overall, it happens usually with like super old books. Number 10. If you won the lottery, what bookish things would you do with the money? Oh, I have a lot of books I want to buy, so kind of obvious thing, but depending on amount of money, I would say, if it would be like a lot of money, I would probably give it to my parents so they could finish building a house and create a library, home library, because now in my parents' home the bookshop doesn't look like aesthetically pleasing and nice. It's all stacked into like, I don't know how many bookcases we have. That's a lot of books, I would say. That's a lot of books, and sometimes it's just impossible to find some specific book just because it's quite wide bookshelf, so it's like 2 layers of books and everything is stuck together. I want a nice, organized home library, so separated nicely. And yes, one moment, bonus question is again ideal dream home library. Nice bookcases. So I don't know why people like saying the IKEA bookcases so basic. They are super nice white, because normal size books pretty much fit in here, and yeah, you can have a little bit of extra space, maybe to put up decorations or something. But if you wanna stack books, you can put some 1 or 2 books behind, kinda in different direction, but overall they're not that wide. So it's, you just put in book in one row, you see everything. It is important. I might tell it is important for the bookcase, so you could just see all the books you have. Yeah. Another thing, it's a lot of bookcases, so I could separate my ideal segregation in a home library is first of all kinda fiction and non-fiction, and I mean non-fiction and textbooks, because I have a lot of old textbooks, like books at home, and in fiction it's kind of genres, just adventure, sci-fi, fantasy, detective, classics. I don't think I have a lot of romance, and don't think I have a lot of, I probably have some contemporary, but not like super. And yeah, I like to separate adventure contemporary from just contemporary, and adventure historical fiction from overall. I don't usually like to separate historical fiction from contemporary as like modern days contemporary as well, because it's a really blurry line for me. Like if a book is set in 60s, last century. Is it already historical fiction? It wasn't a long time ago, but if you take an Ivenga, it's more historical than a book about like Second World War, whatever. And then inside this section separate them by authors and inside this by series. It probably looks overcomplicated, but I don't like rainbow bookshelves. They look amazing, don't get me wrong, but I found them super impractical. First of all, because you're separating series, that drives me mad. Second of all, because you're separating authors and genres. I couldn't live with a bookshelf organized by color. No way. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know when it would be published. Maybe when I finally edit it, no one would care about this tag anymore. Yeah, but anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you wanna do this tag, do it. You might consider yourself tagged. And that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.